Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are taking a late winter garden tour here at the house. But as you can clearly see, my garden did not get the memo that it is still officially winter. Spring has sprung here in North Carolina, a zone 8A, and so we are going to take a lovely garden tour here at the house. Now, full disclosure, because you know I'm all about keeping it honest and keeping it real. We have a massive storm coming through because it's going to turn cold. We have had record temperatures like up in the upper 80s. And so a cold front is coming through, so we're expecting some storms here very shortly. But I was bound and determined to get this tour in because I don't know what's going to happen as far as the storms and all the flowers. So it is early morning, and so we are just going to have some fun, and hopefully the rain will hold off while we can get this tour in. So of course, look at these gorgeous yellow tulips. Oh my goodness, these are fantastic and make a huge statement from a big distance away. This is the Golden Prisma from Color Blends. I did this tulip here last year and absolutely loved it so much that I was like, we are doing it again. And they are in all of their glory. We've got probably about 600 tulips right here, and they just make such a beautiful statement. Even when you're at the nursery, you can see them because of course that bright yellow makes a huge impact from a distance. So we have got them here right along the driveway. We've been cutting them and enjoying them in the house. And yeah, I mean, how can you argue with bright, cheery yellow tulips? I don't know. To give you an update on the driveway bed and of course the front yard bed that we renovated last summer, early fall, everybody is doing great. Everybody's waking up. I've got my hydrangeas that are waking up. Of course, this is the tiny tough stuff right here. Look at all of that beautiful foliage on it. So we have got those that are doing quite well. Then we have got the Fairy Trail Bride right here. She too is waking up, and y'all, I even see a few little buds on this. Can you see that right there? Yep. We have got flower buds on Fairy Trail. And then of course, you remember Mimi and I divided the pink frost hellebore. Well, there you go. We have got blooms on them, and they handled being divided really, really well. And yeah, so yes, they're small this year, but we had one hellebore that we divided into 7, doing great, and then white by the gate. Oh, this camellia, I adore this japonica camellia. White by the gate, of course, has those massive, pure white flowers, just unbelievable. She actually started blooming in like November, took a little break in about January, and then it came back strong, and yeah, nice and vigorous. When we renovated the front yard, we also renovated this bed, made it larger. Happy to report that clearly those Golden Prisma yellow tulips looking just spectacular in here. My gosh, y'all, if y'all can do some yellow tulips, go with the yellow tulips. They are great. Our Perfecto Mundos, these are the double whites. They survive the winter really, really well and look really nice. Of course, they go all the way around. Our butterfly candies took a little bit of a hit this winter, and so I will be pruning them in the next couple of weeks or so. Of course, your butterfly bushes, they bloom on new growth, so we want to give them a little bit of a haircut when the winter ends, the spring begins. Once you see new growth popping out on your butterfly bushes, then you can go ahead and prune them. Alarm's going off. And then we have the sedums. My goodness, y'all, I was worried about these sedums that they were not going to survive here, but they have come back with a vengeance, doing really, really well. The reason I was worried about them is because of course sedums love it really dry, and we tend to have wet winters and then with our clay soil. But I planted them high, so you can see on this one, planted it high, and everybody is doing great. Of course, sedums don't really like to be fertilized, but really happy. I think I've only lost one, and one out of all of these is a pretty good deal. All right, so I got Sweet Thing. He is filming me. We had a plant delivery, so we're over here now. Okay, y'all, the anemones. You were with me in the fall when we planted the anemones along the pathway. Look how well they are doing. They have been blooming for quite a while. Of course, we've got the violas right here. This is why we love anemones. Look at that. This is a beautiful blend from Eden Brothers. Where I am in the south, I can either plant them in the fall or I can plant them in the spring. These were planted obviously in the fall, and then I planted some other ones in the spring just a couple of weeks ago. These are the Perfecto Mundo pink carpets in front of them. They did take a little bit of a hit, but you can see they are pushing out new growth. Have not fertilized them. Of course, the Perfecto Mundos, they are that repeat blooming azalea. So we're just gonna let them roll, right? So having the first year in here, this faces north, and so there you go. We're just gonna roll with them. But the anemones, oh my goodness, if you're not growing anemones, you are missing out. It is the easiest perennial spring flowering, I say bulb, it's a corm, but I strategically placed these behind the azaleas. So that way I will always remember that that's where they are. And then when I come in and plant my summer annuals, then I know that I can put a summer annual in the center between the azaleas. So that's for me to remember, because of course in the summer, all that anemone foliage will go away. Now, here in the south, we are blessed that we get to grow certain shrubs, right? Just like my people in the colder zones, you get to grow shrubs and trees that we do not. So there are two things down here that, well, one's not really southern, the other one is, but this Edgeworthia. Look at this Edgeworthia, y'all. Of course, Edgeworthia Forsythia, this is a paper bush. It is in all of her glory, y'all. The fragrance on this shrub is unbelievable. Jerry and I will be sitting on the front porch, and we will get a little hint of the Edgeworthia. Smells so good. She's actually kind of on the end of her bloom cycle, so the leaves will be popping out soon, but the clusters of flowers on this have been massive. Great thing about Edgeworthia is it's super adaptable to different sun conditions. I've got several in full sun, filtered sun, afternoon sun, you name it, and they are doing great. So Edgeworthia Forsythia, if you're able to get it, this is a wonderful one to get. Look at the backyard. So Yellow Bells, Forsythia, This is Show Off. Now, Show Off is going to be the biggest Forsythia that Proven Winners offers, and it rightly gets its name. I'm 5'2", and here it is just in all of its glory. Nice, big, massive blooms on it, all the way down from the bottom of the stem, all the way up. And y'all, if you are trying to make an impact from a distance, like our house sits off, most people are not up close on our house. So to make a big impact from a distance, yellow stands out. That's why we went with yellow tulips in the front. And then of course having the Forsythia here, because the nursery is just over my left shoulder, and so folks can see this. But my gosh, we've got one here and then one on the other end of the bed. With your Forsythia, especially Show Off, very vigorous. So after it blooms, then I give it a very hard prune and then leave it alone for the rest of the season and just kind of let it go. The roses are flushing out big time. So this is the Julia Child Rose Standard, and you can see how, look at all that gorgeous foliage on it. I mean, it is popping. All of my roses are really waking up. This is the Fairy Trail Bride. She too is waking up, not quite as advanced as the one that we saw along the driveway bed, but doing really, really nicely. And then back here, as far as the tulips, we have got the pink ardor from Color Blends. The ones in the landscape back here are just starting. We'll go up to the patio in just a second. But y'all, this is such a beautiful, vibrant, like electric pink. It is gorgeous. It makes a huge impact. Cannot wait for all of them to explode back here along the backyard. But we can come up here because we kept the same tulip the whole way, right? So you can see up on the deck boxes, we've got them here as well. I do think we got 2 rogue tulips right here, but that's all right. So they're a little bit different color in there, but this is what they should be. Those nice, really vibrant pink. Megan loves them. Of course, we do pink tulips back here in the back every year because Megan, who is our middle child, loves pink tulips. So that is what we're going for. Now, speaking of roses waking up, I have 3 David Austins back here. So all 3 of them are different. But behind them, so we've got like Scepter to Isle, Gertrude Jekyll, and then Elizabeth. So they're all waking up, have the tulips here, and you'll notice like some of the tulips right here are already kind of going downhill because these were the first ones to bloom, and this is the hottest spot of our garden. So some of them are starting to go ahead and go away. Of course, tulips for us in North Carolina, they are a annual. So we have to plant them every year. Once they're done, we pull them up and pull them out. I want you to look behind Elizabeth though. Look at the Clematis. So behind each of the David Austins, I have the same Clematis perennial from Brushwood Nursery. And y'all, this thing, when I say it has exploded, like big time. So of course they climb up the trellis and they are beautiful. It's a cream and like a little bit of a light purple pink edging on it. Lovely. And then here we still have the same tulips back here. You were with me when I pruned my Amber Jubilee 9-bark. I am happy to report she is fleshing out just gorgeous. Really fun right now, has that like chartreuse, a little bit of orange in it. So cannot wait to continue to watch this one grow and develop. And then we can't leave the backyard without talking about how the double play doozy Spireas are waking up. My goodness. So I have double play doozy in front of the Incrediballs, and then of course right here in the corner, and they are flushing out with all of that kind of beautiful, it's really like a deep red foliage, and just doing great. So with your Spireas, of course, these bloom on new growth, so we want to prune them, shear them back, put them into a meatball, late winter, early spring, and then of course they flush out with all of this beautiful foliage, basically like a 3 to 4 tall and wide. And then they do these raspberry colored flowers on them. But I love having them here and then in along the backup wall of the patio as well. And then of course you can see the cherry tree. So this is Okami, and Okami cherry tree is going to be the earliest spring bloomer. So she was unbelievable with her beautiful pink blooms, and you can see that she has already flushed out with all of her green growth. So we got that doing really well. And then we have, those are the Yoshinos. So we have Yoshinos on the privacy berm. So that is going to be the next cherry tree that blooms. Of course, a different color to it, that white double, beautiful. And then at the nursery, and at the chicken coop, I have Kwanzans. So there's 3 main cherry trees that bloom in the spring: Okami, Yoshino, and Kwanzan. So we have all 3. They bloom at different times. So to have that succession of cherry flowers, we're going to plant all 3, right? And then let's come back here really quick because I want to kind of give you an update. This is one of those gardens we don't talk about a lot, and I haven't done anything back here. So this is just, we do real life gardening around here, my friends. But if you remember, so this bed does not get a lot of views, right? Because it's at the very back of our property, but that doesn't mean it still cannot be beautiful and have interest. So last year, Color Blends sent me some daffodils. We planted the daffodils all throughout here, and you can see the foliage. Some of it is burned. That's because it came up super early, but it does not affect the flowers. So this is such a cute cluster of small petite daffodils. Planted them in here. Last year what I did is I had the daffodils going. I knew where they were, and then I planted Vermillionaire between them. So that way, when the foliage was dying back on the daffodils, Vermillionaire was coming up. Fast forward to end of the summer, I didn't want to pull the Vermillionaire out because I didn't want to disturb the bulbs, so I just cut it to the ground. And there you go. So we have got, things are coming back big time. The eyeliner irises, they are coming back really well. We planted the Rockin' Playin' the Blues Salvia, which is technically an annual, but look at that. Again, I just sheared it back. Look at all of that great foliage on there. Doing really, like, look at this one, like huge. So that's the thing, is if you want to see if your annuals will be perennials, just shear back the foliage once it starts dying back in the late fall and leave it alone. And then of course, clearly we have not pruned the butterfly bushes yet. We will do that really soon, but these are the Cherry Royale, just a really vibrant pink. Clearly they are very happy here. And then the Star Magnolia, she's had a little bit of a hit or miss because she started to bloom and then we got a freeze and it got hot. So this hasn't been the best year for her, but that's all right. we go through seasons together, right? And then y'all, back over here. So these are the blackberry bushes. So we have got two different kinds. Let me go on this side because you know how I am with names sometimes. It just hits me. So these are the blackberry bushes. They're thornless blackberry bushes. These two are from Southern Living. This is the Osage. So we've got that flushing out big time. Clearly I need to tuck everybody in. And then this one is the one from Proven Winners. Taste of Heaven. Thank you, Jerry. So we've got Taste of Heaven here. So love having these. Just planted them last year. I have no doubt we are going to have a bumper crop of blackberries. And then of course we've got blueberry bushes right here, and they look very happy and covered in flowers as well. My goal for this year with the other two beds, of course this used to be the dahlia beds. Y'all, I've just given up on dahlias, especially as a big dahlia garden. With my clay soil and our way our weather is, I love dahlias, they're stunning. I just didn't have the time to give them. So what I'm gonna do this year is turn those two beds into cut flower gardens. So we'll talk about that more later, but just know that we're gonna do cut flowers back there. And to make you feel really good about your gardening and keeping it real, back here behind us, we have the Phantom Hydrangea hedge. Clearly, they have not been pruned yet. Y'all, they're popping out new growth. They've got leaves on them, leaf buds at least, and so they are, they're screaming at me, I need to be pruned, I need to be pruned. And you were with me when we did the limelights where I hand cut each one. These guys, no, they'll get the hedge trimmer. They're gonna get the hedge trimmer, they're going to get whacked back. Of course, your phantoms, right? Massive, huge, pure white, creamy, panicle blooms. They are gorgeous, but yeah, they gotta get pruned. So we gotta get on that ASAP. Now, let's go to the forest pansy bed because forest pansy, as the thunder rolls, is getting ready to just pop with color. Of course, here we are with the forest pansy bed. So this is such a, if you're not familiar with this place, this garden, we do call this the forest pansy bed because that's a forest pansy red bud back there. And it is getting ready to, like I said, to explode in full bloom. So underneath the forest pansy is really considered a shade garden. This is the time of year where it's a little weird because we're waiting on the forest pansy to leaf out to give it the shade. So it does get a good bit of sun right now, but it's winter sun, so it's not as strong. And then this bed is full sun bed. Now you might notice that I have cloaks all on top of my violas. Pansies rather. That is because I have a rabbit. Peter, can't catch Peter, but Peter is in here and he loves to munch on my pansies. So in order to have flowers, went ahead and put some cloaks on them. So we're enjoying the flowers through the wire. Everything is waking up. The barberries are waking up. Well, I will give them a little trim once they kind of really flush out. This is, yep, the Sunjoy citrus. Nice, bright chartreuse color. We've got the pufferfish hydrangeas that are in here. They are popping with their new foliage, right? These I got pruned in the appropriate time, but they are popping out. And then the Generous Gardener Rose, she too has really exploded in gorgeous new foliage, and just like, she's a beautiful beast. I try to keep her tame, but beautiful on this end. As far as everything here, we're waking up. The tulips are coming along. And then, do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we were resetting this garden for the spring? And this container just looked terrible from the winter. I cut everything back. I cleaned it up, and y'all, when I say I've done nothing to this, I have done absolutely nothing, and it has flushed back out, doing really well. You can tell that it has been warm because the Ms. American mustard, she is bolting. So bolting means, right, that it pops up and it's getting ready to flower and set seed. But everything in here is lovely. We got the Pulmonaria in bloom. Of course, the Hellebores are still going strong, and yeah, so everything's just rocking and rolling. We don't really have anything else to do in here because when we did that garden reset, everybody is coming along quite nicely in here, and yeah, so we're just gonna kind of let it roll and see what happens. Now, I do want to run up to the chicken coop right quick because we did get that woodland garden all tidied up and finished, and we've got some more tulips up there I want to show you real quick. So we're gonna beat the rain. All right, so come with me as we make our way up through the cottage garden. Here, the cottage garden, everything is waking up, doing really well. So we've got the penstemon that's coming up, and then we've got the snowflakes. Everything is doing really well. The boxwoods took a hit this winter, so we'll have to get them cleaned up later on. And then the garden boxes, they too are doing well. They're holding their own. Look at this. How cute is this? So I planted some bulbs in here, and I've got a bumblebee that is sleeping inside of the daffodil. Bless its heart. It's a great place to take a little nap. So everything is doing really well. The garlic is coming along quite nicely. That is the stiff neck garlic. So we're gonna have a great crop of garlic this year. Have really fun plans for these boxes this coming summer. So totally different than last year. Cannot wait to share that with you. But yeah, so there we go. Mimi and I got the Hydrangea Hill, all of this cleaned up. So we have here at the base of Hydrangea Hill, and then up at the chicken coop, this is Bella Blush. And Bella Blush, of course, is from Color Blends. And this is a beautiful, nice, soft pink. The ones down here, you can kind of see the progression because as we move down towards the end, they are still very young tulips. These on this end stays in the shade more. Whereas when we get to the chicken coop, those tulips are basically done because they were the first to bloom because it gets really warm up there. And with the temperatures we've had, they're at the end of their cycle. So we're gonna make our way up to the chicken coop. You can see that the creeping Jenny along the steps, it too has really woken up and like really starting to get that nice vibrant green. So creeping Jenny, some people hate it. I love it. It does exactly what I want it to do right here. It is a great ground cover. It can, if it's happy, it can be a little too happy. So that's why some people don't like it. That's why it's important to be a student of your own garden. If you don't like it and it's too crazy, then don't do it. But if you need a great ground cover like I do and it works in your garden, then go for it. So last time we were here in this garden, Mimi and I were planting, putting the containers together. Well, our sweet team came through and they mulched the whole thing for us. So it is all mulched, it has been fertilized, it is ready to rock and roll all through the season. But look, y'all, just to prove how warm it has been, look at guacamole. Guacamole is already popping up. We've got a couple of inches of growth on guacamole. The Hurricane Ridge, Jacob's Ladder, is very happy, but look at that. Is this not just going to be absolutely beautiful in here? Love it. Added Pulmonaria to the garden, but it's all done. So now we just kind of wait, let it do its thing, and enjoy it. So in front of the chicken coop, really haven't done anything in here, but you can see the difference, right? So these Bella Blushes are, like I said, they are just about ready to call it quits. And so we're just gonna kind of let them roll, and then once they're done, we will pull them out and just have the violas here and let them do their thing until it is time to put in the summer annuals. When Mimi and I were redoing the garden right here, we moved the pots. Y'all, this is Junior Miss Japonica Camellia. She is in all of her glory. Beautiful double flower, has a mild little sweet fragrance to it. It is just lovely. So that is blooming, but you can just kind of see how everything is doing in here, how nice and neat and tidy it looks. You can see Island Breeze Hosta. She too has exploded in that blue pot. They clearly love their new homes and are doing really well. It's going to be fun to have that nice pop of that chartreuse and that green and that blue pot will make a huge statement. The aspidistras are doing really well in their new homes surrounding the stumps. And then of course the Orion Elysiums, they too, they got planted, they're happy, and everybody is just rocking and rolling. All right, my friends, so I know this has been a little bit of a fast and furious garden tour, but like I said, I wanted to show you the garden before this storm comes through because I don't know what's going to happen. And it's starting to rain right now, but it is going to be a beautiful spring. It's already, like I said, spring has sprung here in North Carolina. Now the temperatures are going to drop, thank goodness, because we don't want to be in the upper 80s in March. But if the rest of the season is going to be anything like what it is so far, it is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous growing season. So I hope you have found this fun, maybe got some inspiration, and if you're covered in snow, just know that spring will be on its way to you very shortly. And as always, we so appreciate you. You hope you have a great day. We will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.